It still says offline. What's up? Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's go over that question real quick. So why did I throw the 1-3 pin here? So after the reach, I'm basically just wanting to defend right here because I'm in a pretty nice second place. This hand's still pretty far from Tenpai, and I just don't want to deal into them. So throwing any safe tiles that I have right now. This is one of the questions I had as well. On the first reach, I was wondering, should I have thrown this, or should I throw like 2-pin? I didn't want to give them the chance to call with whatever they were going for right here, because they're probably going for some Yakuhai, and they have like a Dora 3, whereas this person over here, the Dora is really hard to use right now. There's only one 8-pin left, one 9-pin left, and then the 2 red Dora. And so, ideally I wanted to defend against them, and not feed them. And so that's why I decided to go with the south on this first one, but I don't know about that. 2-pin was probably actually pretty nice because they dropped a 5-pin really early, so unless they had a 1-3 shape, it's unlikely they'd call it. But with their discards and uncertainty of their Yaku, they could very well be going for Junchan right here. So that's why I decided to drop the south. But it is still the south wind, and they still could technically have that, so I should probably actually just ignore the potential of them calling and drop the 2 anyway. Or I could drop the east winds. That might be nice as well. But yeah, so after that, just follow up with defending with the safe tiles that I have. So at this point, I got the 2-pin. 2 came out from their hand as well. So now all the 2 pins are gone, but I still have the east, which are good. So, oh, I went with the 1 pin right there. Yeah, I would have to drop the 1 pin. Oh, that's why I kept it. Okay, like, why did I do that right now? So because technically I'm still 1 Shanten, or I got into 1 Shanten right here. If I did drop the east and I had no other safe tiles, then this would probably be the safest tile that I had. But the 2-pin reach is a little bit suspicious for the 1-pin, mainly because if they are waiting on, let's say, a 1-pin Tonki or a 1-pin Shabo, it's a little more likely with the 2-pin as the reachy tile. But considering that the number of Dora I could see right here, and then also the chance of a potential safe Tenpai, for instance, like if they happen to draw like the 8 or the 5, or the 4 and I get into Tenpai, or maybe even if I just draw into Tenpai already with like a red 5 or something, I'd probably be willing to push maybe like the 8 or the 4 to actually get that chance, especially with the number of Dora I can see. But yeah, the only reason I'm willing to drop this at this point was because the last 2-pin came out. And then I get the 8, and I can't drop this, or this. If I'm in Tenpai, dropping a dangerous tile is not that bad. But if you're in 1 Shanten and dropping a really dangerous tile, that's kind of bad. I say dangerous in that, like, no Suji. Because no Suji tiles are very particularly bad. In the case of, like, the 1-pin, though, it's completely walled off, so they can only wait on it in, like, 2 possible ways. So this is actually a lot safer than, like, anything like this 5, 4, 8, or the 8 that I just drew this next turn. And so that's why at that point I decided to break this up. And then, one more safe tile right here. So I ran out of safe tiles now, because 2, 4, 5 are unsafe, everything else I have is unsafe. What do I drop here? Actually, I probably should have dropped the 4-pin here. That would have actually been a lot better, I think. I completely missed it. It's like, oh yeah, right, Nakasuji. So I had like several options here. 1 chance of this one. Technically, like, walled off, so only the 4 or 5 of this one, but that's still Ryeonmin, so that's kind of dangerous. And then the 2, 4, 5 right there, which are all pretty bad, so yeah. I probably should have actually dropped the 4-pin weight right here. Because 4-pin's kind of unlikely. The only way they'd be waiting on a 4-pin, most probably, right now, they could have a Shabo, but that's unlikely since I have a couple of them. So then it would be a 5 and a 3, which they could technically have if they have, let's say, a red 5, and then they drop the 2-pin for Ricci. Especially because they need points, and I can't see the red 5-pin. So that is a possibility. I do wonder, is the 4-pin a little bit more scary here because the red 5 potential? Or is the 3-pin a little bit nicer here because they kept the 2-pin until the Ricci tile, and then there's a wall of it? The 2-so right here wasn't that bad either because it was walled off. I mean, not walled off because it's a 1 chance, but any 1 chance like this, I am just like generally really scared about because if, you know, we can see all 4 of the tiles, that's one thing, but not seeing all but 1 of the tiles, especially when we have, I think, literally almost all of them. Let's see. We're missing 1 more 2-so. All of the 2-5-so Suji. This is pretty scary to drop. I really don't want to drop this. If the last 4 comes out, then yeah, it's whatever. But before that, it's kind of iffy. What's up, EMP? Oh, it's actually on. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I started up in the Streamlabs and just like, oh, wait, where is it? Okay. So yeah. Probably 4-pin right here, actually, but I'm kind of curious since I can't see the red 5-pin at this point. So I'm going to probably take a picture of this and get some second opinions on it. But yeah, most probably 4-pin. Alright, so next up, East 2-0, Shikake. So this was a question of, should I have called when I did in East 2? Mainly because there was 2 people on the board, I couldn't see any of the Dora, and I kind of just gave up going for my hand at this point in mid-game, because I didn't want to drop the tiles that I would need to do to get there. And so then I'm like, if I'm going to be folding anyway, because I can't see many of the Dora up, there's 2 people open with Yakuhai, should I try to just start opening up my hand and like Mawashi around to a potential Tenpai? And I think the answer is maybe, but probably not this early, because even right now I would still need, like, what is that, 10 more draws until Ryukoku, and I can draw a lot of different tiles at that point that may or may not destroy me if I'm, like, opened up too far with, like, no Dora scene, and one of these guys maybe has, like, a Dora Unko or something. So yeah, I don't think I should probably have called right here. Like, if this was more so, like, around, like, the 12th turn, I think that's a lot more okay to do. If I do want to make a last-minute dive at, just, like, you know, Tenpai with no Yaku, so I can get the exhausted draw bonus. But before that, probably not. It's usually not a good idea to call for Tenpai this early, especially with no Yaku. There's an arrow and a blue circle. Oh yeah, the blue circle is called Tobii eye tracking software. So yeah, it's pretty cool. September, what is that? 6 sub-gifts? Oh, that's cool. I look forward to it. Thank you. Alright. So, next up. Oh, and like always, whenever I stream my games, I have a 5-minute delay on them. And plus I only have one screen on, so I can just concentrate completely on the game. Because if I lose any concentration, I explode in this room. But when I'm doing the review, everything is live, and so if you have any questions, feel free to ask on the chat, and I'll answer as best as I can. Alright, so next question I had for myself was South 1-1, 8th turn and 15th turn. So, let's go to 8th turn. This one? Oh wait, South 1-1. This is South 1-0. Alright, so what do I got? Oh, this is what we talked about just before. Should I have defended with the 2-pin, or should I have worried about this guy calling right here with their Dora 3? And yeah, probably I should have just ignored it. Yeah. If I did technically want to avoid that, I should, and rather than dropping the South, which is the technically still live, and I can see 2 of them, and it's also the round wind, I should drop the East, because it's the same number of tiles, except this at least isn't the round wind. But I think 2-pin's probably better here. I think I was probably overthinking that a bit. 7th Dawn is pretty wild. Yeah, it's nice. And then you get into this room and it's like, 7 Dawn, yes, finally! And it's like, welcome, you are now fodder. It's like 70% of the, or 75% of the people in the Ho-Oh room are 7 Dawn, and they're basically just like fodder for everyone else. So, yeah, it's fun. And it's not even like the rates are like really hard or anything, because it's actually like easier rates than 5th Dawn. Because you lose, same thing as in 5th Dawn, if you get like a 1st, a 2nd, and 4th, you're just like at 0 points, right? Except in this room, 2nd place gives you even more points than in the middle room. But then why does everyone 7 Dawn still? Mainly because everyone's just really good in here and just like slaughters you. So that's why a lot of people, whenever they get up to 7 Dawn for the first time, will jump up and they'll be like, yeah, I'm here, and then a month later, they're back down to 6 Dawn. Alright, so got that question. Let's go to, I think this is East 3-0, 12th turn and 13th turn. Oh. Yeah, this one was kind of interesting. So I was opening up with a hand that was basically Honitsu 1 Dora. Probably 3,900 points, or depending on the Fu, it could go up to 5,200 points. But recently a con has happened on the field, which flipped over a new Dora, which is the 2 of Sozu. Plus, the 5 of Sozu is also the Dora, so the 2-5 Sozu Suji is really dangerous right now. Because there's 2 people open, one person was confident enough to call a con, and so, yeah, I don't want to drop a 5-so, especially for just a 3,900 point hand. And then I also drew, here we go, a 2-so, and I'm like, well, I can't drop this either. So at this point, I decide to kind of fold my hand, but I can't drop the tune because it looks really dangerous on the field. This person has open Yakuhai. This person opened up their hand, so they could very well also have some type of Yakuhai that they're waiting on. And no tune has been dropped, and we're already on the 12th turn. So that's a really good sign of, hey, be careful. Don't drop a tile that hasn't been dropped yet at this point, if you're wanting not to die. So it's easier rate than 5th Dawn, assuming Ho-Oh is as easy as Tokujo. Yeah, pretty much. It's like rate in Ho-Oh, especially at like the really high Dons, the rates are just really, really, really scary. It's like 10 Don, if you get a single 4th place, it's equivalent to 2 first places, which is, if you know Mahjong, pretty bad. Especially if you have to continue that for like 4,000 points on here. It's the reason why there are very, very few Tenhois, even after like 10 years of this game going on. Only like 12 people, only 12 people have technically got to the highest rank on here before. And then one person did it twice. But even for like the 10 Don accounts, usually people jump up to 10 dan, and if they don't, you know, magically surface up to the highest level, then they instantly just like fall down. So if you look on like the Tenhou rankings of like current number of 10 dans, it's like 22 or something like that, and it's like, wow, that's a good number, right? But most of those 10 dans aren't actually active. Only about half of them are. The other half are basically, they got the 10 dan, they drop down to like 400 points or something, and then they're like, okay, I want to leave this account alone so I don't drop down out of 10 dan, and just go make a new account. And now, yeah, so that's what they do. Let's see, if you have 10,000 points here instead of 3-2, do you drop those 2 tiles? No. Probably not, because it's still a fight of 3,900 points versus death. Especially since it's only like Ace 3. Like, if we're at 10,000 points, and it's early in the game, that doesn't mean that much. Like, you just gotta play like normal. Yeah, you don't have to go into desperation mode just yet. When you get into later South rounds, that's when you have to start going into desperation mode, because there's a limited number of like rounds left, and so you kind of have to push what you gotta have to push. But even in this case, like this is a pretty hard push. You can probably reason that you can probably throw the Chun if you really needed to push this hand, and if you got into Tenpai, then you could throw it. But you probably wouldn't throw this tile unless you got into Tenpai here. No decay. Yeah, so accounts normally disappear forever, except accounts that are past a certain ranking, according to the manual. Someone posted that yesterday of like, oh, your account will get deleted after like, you know, 180 days or something like that if you don't play it, unless it's like past like a certain point. I think it was like 7 dan or something. But yeah, if you ever actually lose your account, if you ever bought premium on it, you can just like email the support and say, hey, look, this is the credit card that I used to buy the premium on that account. Can I get it back? And they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so 13th turn. So same thing right here. I'm like, I really don't want to throw these still, but I kind of still want to keep going with my hand. What do I throw here? This person's a bit of a mystery. This person potentially was going for Tanya, or they could be going for a Yakuhai. But if they're going for a Yakuhai, East is dead, Haku's over there, Hatsu's dead, so only Chun remains. So in that case, I'm like, well, I guess it's okay to throw the 9 here. It still could technically be dangerous for this person, but compared to what else I have, yeah. Yeah, I just read that on Twitter the other day. I didn't know about that either. I think it might have been like something new that they added, but yeah. Alright, so next question. East 4-0, 9th turn. Oh yeah, this one. So I was wondering, should I have been a little bit more greedy here? And I think the answer is, probably not. I can call this, drop the 1, instant Tenpai, or I could call this and drop the 4-5, and then potentially upgrade to an 8,000 point hand. But considering that for the 1s, all of them are dead, it makes it kind of hard. So in that case, it's like, well, someone's already opened, we're already on the 9th turn, so an instant Tenpai right here on the 3-6, which looks pretty good, is probably better than dropping back a couple Shanten to make a long effort of getting a potential Mangan, especially since we're in first right now. A quick hand to move the game forward without anyone winning anything big is really beneficial. Alright, next up, South 4-1, 6th turn, 9th turn, 13th turn, 14th turn, and last drop. All the questions. This one. Yeah, this is interesting. So, I'm in first place right now by a good amount. Last place is in reach. Should I, like, hard fold to this? Or should I risk kind of pushing? So, if I do risk something right here, I could technically risk the 6, because it's like a one chance Nakasuji this early on, because they're not waiting on the 3-6 because they just discard the 3, and even if they are, they're in free 10. They could be waiting on the 6-9, but the only way they can do that is if they have the last 8 in their hand. Plus, I managed to keep one Shanten right now, and so it's like, hey, that's not that bad. But then I was considering, well, even if I do throw that and keep my one Shanten, you know, I still need to pick up another one of my pairs. Oh, someone followed. Thank you. Can I see who it is? Yes, EMP. Thanks for the follow. So yeah, if I do like throw this out, I'm still gonna have to pick up one of these pairs to actually get into Tenpai. And so I'm like, well, I should probably just throw this out. If I build on like the 6 right here with like a 7 or a 5 or a 4, then I can potentially switch around to get into Honitsu Tenpai, or, you know, just some Tenpai. I don't care about the Aku. I just need to win a hand anyway later on. And so that's why I decided to play it safe right here at least and drop the East. And then go into the future, 3 turns, and suddenly, boom, we're in Tenpai now. We're in 30-10 on the 7 Mon, but it's technically a Tenpai, and the most important part here is we don't have any safe tiles. So since we're at that point of, well, no safe tiles, so what do we do? Even though this is like a 6-pin, it's like, whoa, that's scary, right? Because we have the 8-pin Anko right here, it's not super scary. It's probably actually the most reasonable tile that we have aside from the 9-pin, which is very reasonable, but we also get Tenpai right here, and it gives us a chance to end the game. Even if we deal into a semi-okay hand right here, we got a lot of leeway. And so I was thinking, yeah, it's probably worth the push right here, even if it's 30-10 for that. And if we get like a 2 that comes out, or if we get another 8 or a 9, then we can switch over and get a Tenpai that we can run people on as well. What are all these bakahons? Bakahonitsus? I don't. It just happens to me, you know. It's just I get on the table and it's like, hey, you need honitsu, and I throw away the, you know, East, and it's like, no, I don't need it. It's like, no, I insist. But yeah. So yeah, considering it's a 1 chance, I thought it was pretty okay here. Going forward, 13th turn. So at this point, I switched over to Tenpai on Toy, but I don't need the points, I just need to end the game. More importantly, the 2 weights that I'm waiting on are a Suji of what the dealer has, and another Suji of what the dealer has. So, it's not bad. The question is, should I push these tiles to get into Tenpai? And the question is, I don't know. Or the answer is, I don't know. 5 is technically like half safe on one side, but the 2-5 Suji still looks pretty dangerous. It's technically a 1 chance, but at this point in the game, when you get later on, 1 chances mean nothing. So yeah, should I keep Tenpai here? So if we look at the potential Suji tiles that are remaining for the dealer, let's count how many there are in total. So you can either wait on like the 1-4, the 2-5, 3-6, 4-7, 5-8, or 6-9, and then there's 3 suits. So in total you have 18 choices. So how many can we actually discount from the discard so far? If we look at Sozu, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So only 1 remaining in Sozu, which is the 2-5 Sozu chance. In Pinzu, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. Okay, so none in Pinzu. And then in Manzu, we can see, let's see, that was the 4th turn, except that was after there. 1, 2, 3. So still, oh wait, and then the 9 came out right here. 4. So 2 remaining there. So in total, there are 3 remaining Suji tiles. Considering that, it's kind of dangerous. It's pretty dangerous. It's pretty high up there. Yeah, that might be a little bit questionable. Plus, we can't technically see that many door tile right now either. We can see one mon right here, another right here. So a total of 5 Dora are still missing. Yeah. I don't know if pushing that is okay. Huh. Plus the red 5 option is still out as like a Tonki or a Shabo, so maybe folding there is okay, but on the flip side, if you look at all of our other tiles, I mean, it doesn't have to be a Ryanman, right? It could also be like a Shabo or a single tile weight, especially if there's like a lot of tiles that aren't on the board yet. So looking through like all of the honor tiles real quick, we can see east, west, south, no north tile. So north is still out there. Dragons are all out there. For the Pinzu, we can't see on the board. 2, see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, mostly because I have them right in here. For the Sozu, we can see, or we can't see 2. We can see 5, that, we can see that. So all the rest of them are there. And then for the Manzu, we can't see what? There's a 1, we can't see a 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is still missing, 7 is still missing. Oh no, 7's right there. And 8 is technically still missing as well. So a total of 9 Shompai. Which isn't that bad. Like for Shompai, if they gets around like less than 10, especially, or less than 5, especially near like the end of the round, even if you're holding a tile that's like, you know, walled off and everything, you should be pretty suspicious about that. Maybe, maybe not. So yeah, considering that you also have the red 5, I'm guessing probably I should just fold with the 9 pin here. All the 5s so look like Monka-S. Monka-S. What is that emoji? No, it's not there. No, it's the frog. I see. I never knew the name of that frog. Alright. Yeah, so I should probably actually not throw the 5 there, considering the remaining Suji tiles. Especially for early Richis. In current like meta of Mahjong, first Richi is like king. The reason why is because it's really hard for your opponents to tell what's going on over there. And the value can be anything from, like, you know, a second turn Dama death or Baimon death hand to, like, you know, Richinomi on a double side weight. But either way, early Richis and double side weights usually go pretty hand in hand together. So considering there's only 3 Suji tiles remaining, this is kind of iffy. Which leads me to my next question. Should I throw this one? Considering that we had still like 9 Shompai left, I think this one is semi-okay. And then finally, we had this 4. So I already threw the 5, so that cut off one of the remaining chances. So the only possible double-sided weights left, like at all, are the 1-4 Manzu and the 4-7 Manzu. In other words, this is really, really, really dangerous. And so at this point, it's like, yes, I should not throw that. Like, if this one is like, you know, flipping a coin, heads or tails. Heads you get Ron, tails you don't. This one is like, you know, rolling a loaded dice that will always land in Ron. It maybe could not. Maybe they're waiting on, like, you know, some bad weight, and they're in last place as dealer, and they're in a desperation mode, so it's very possible. But it's also very possible that they're waiting on this, and so Yeah, decided not to right there. And then luckily, this guy ran me. Which, in this situation, if I deal into this person or this person, it's not super bad, mainly because even if I get hit by a direct Mongon, I'm okay. The only way they can kill me is if they get a Hanemon, but considering I can see 3 door right now, that's kind of hard. So this was kind of lucky for me. Now, we do have a safe... Wait, do we have a safe tile? Right now, no we don't. Like, the safest tile that we have is the 9-pin. But the 9-pin, while it's scary for like these 2 people, I don't care about those 2 people. The only one I care about is the dealer. And the 6-pin came out since their reach, and so this is like super safe for the dealer. In that there's only one possible way they can wait on it, which is the 9-pin Tanki. While it's technically possible, it's better than anything else, especially than the 4. So I'm actually kind of curious. What was their wait? Oh, okay. Waiting on the Summon. Anything around the door is also kind of like, whoa. That's cool. Oh, and they were in Senpai on the 3-pin too. But yeah. That's that. Some fun cases I had over here was, this one is a pretty interesting one. So this is a good instance of, why do you push if you're one Shanten, if it's early reach? I mean, you don't have any safe tile, well, you have a couple safe tiles, right? But you have, like, Pinfu, Dora, plus as dealer. So should you defend against this reach? No. If you have a high point hand with like good shapes, and specifically if it's early on, that's usually a really good time to push from Shanten. When you hit middle rounds or late rounds, if you're pushing from Shanten, you're doing it wrong. But early on, with like really good hand, with really good shapes, yeah, go for it. You might get lucky. Ha 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 ha. Alright, and yeah. That's all I got for this game. So, thanks for watching, and I'm going to be starting up another game, so I'll see you in a 5-minute delay. Oh, real quick question. EMP, do you push here if you are the one with 47 and he's the one with 32? Probably not. Since we're in South 2 anyway, and we have that big of lead, it's still like a 17,000 lead, right? So even if they get a Mongon Sumo, it doesn't hurt us any. Well, it hurts us some, but it doesn't like put us into second yet. We still have like 5,000 points to work for, and the game is in South 3, which is pretty good. So yes, if we are the ones that are above the next person by almost 18,000 points, then usually you wouldn't do this. But if this is like a situation where, right now, even if I get by a Mongon, it doesn't hurt that bad, considering the distance between me and last and third. And then also, this is like a nice chance hand, you should take this here. Or if this hand is also like in East 1, or a flat situation where you need points in general, EV positive wise, you should also push here, because this is like a really good thing to push. Specifically because it is worth a lot of points, it's early rounds, and we have good shapes. If you're missing any of those, then pushing from Shanten is not advisable in most cases. But yeah. Alright. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, this hand is juicy. And I got really lucky. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to be starting up the next game, so I'll see you after the 5-minute delay.